If you've been growing plants for a while, you might be wondering, how can I optimize my crop this year? You've got the best nutrients, you've got the best systems, you've got the best ventilation set up. What more could you possibly do? When looking at these things, it's always best to start at the beginning with propagation. Extreme offer premium quality propagation products that are built to last. They've now launched the Extreme Dry Plugs, perfect for use with the Extreme heated and unheated propagators. The Extreme Dry Plugs come in trays with 77 cocoa cubes. The media has got excellent drainage, so there's no risk of oversaturation or rot, and it provides a great balance of water, air and nutrient. These cocoa plugs also allow for rapid expansion of young roots, where a dense substrate might slow down or restrict the growth. Extreme take the quality very seriously. This cocoa is sourced in India, it's then shipped to the Netherlands where it's washed and buffered. So with the Extreme Dry Plugs, your plants are always going to benefit from growing in an inert environment with low potassium, low EC, which gives you all of the control over the plant's nutrition. Each plug measures 3.5 centimeters by 4 centimeters, which is great for allowing the plants to grow deeper rather than wider. The cocoa remains firmly bonded to the root network when you're transplanting, which reduces the risk of any sort of root damage during that process. Once transplanted, a deeper root network can absorb nutrients from much deeper in the substrate. The Extreme trays are made from durable plastic. You can easily reuse them, and when you're not using them, they can be stacked on top of each other for easy storage. The Extreme plugs are designed to fit perfectly into the Extreme heated and unheated propagators. You can fit one tray in the small and 3 trays in the large, giving you plenty of room for all of your plants. For the Extreme unheated propagator, growers benefit from a sturdy, affordable design that gives them full control over their plant's environment. These units are perfect for people growing hardy plants that can deal with a little bit of temperature fluctuation, or people who are already growing inside and they have a room set up already. The Extreme heated propagators disperse heat evenly from the base of the propagator. This ensures that there will be no hot or cold spots forming, giving you a nice, even growth throughout the whole propagator. The Extreme heated propagator is great for people who are growing in slightly unstable conditions. You can add thermostatic control to the unit, which makes controlling it from 5 degrees to 30 degrees really simple and easy. To start propagating, all you have to do is put your tray inside the propagator, put the lid on, and then make sure the humidity valves are closed so you can get really high relative humidity, perfect for propagation. Now that you've had a look at the Extreme plugs and the propagators, we can hand it over to Ian and he can tell you a little bit more about them.
Thanks, James. What we've got here now is the Extreme 77 cocoa block. I love these blocks. Basically, I think they're better than Rottwell. I think they're really easy to use, and I just want to go through a process how I use them and how I recommend you use them. What I'm going to do now is show you how to use the Extreme plugs. The Extreme plugs are a cocoa plug and they're dry. I hate wet plugs because what a wet plug could have been in somebody's warehouse for 6 months, could have been really warm. A fungus gnat could have laid its eggs in there. That turns into larva. All of a sudden that larva is eating your roots as your plant grows. That's going to spread into your crop. They're going to fly off again, lay more eggs, lay more bugs, and the next thing you know, you've got a real issue on your hands. So I like dry plugs where they're completely sterile, they're sealed, they can't get any fungus gnats in there. Wet ones are prone to getting fungus gnats. So what I've done, I've popped out the first row on here and dropped them inside this tub here. What I've got in the tub is the new products what are coming soon. It's the Extreme Plug Soak. So what's in the Extreme Plug Soak is everything you need to do to establish your cuttings, but that will be out very soon and we'll do another video on how that works. So what you do, obviously I'm pre-soaking these, get the block, drop it in. Use warm water when you're soaking your plugs. Don't use cold water if you're going to propagate straight on. If you're taking your cuttings and dropping them straight on, use a warm water. Cuttings hate that shock. That really cold water really shocks your cutting and may stop it rooting. So either pre-soak everything, get it up to room temperature, or use warm water when you're soaking your blocks. So you've got your blocks, you've got your your nutrients sat in here, and what you do, you take them out and they'll be completely saturated. Do not squeeze them at this point. If you squeeze them at this point, you will crush the structure of the product, and that will make the air to water ratio completely fall out and it will get oversaturated. So don't squeeze them. Just get the block, drop it in, and just let it free drain into the propagator. That means you've got a perfect air to water ratio in the block. It will make them root really, really quick. So what I'd do if I was rooting in this tray, I like to go relatively large cuttings. So I would be doing one, miss one, miss one. So I'll be putting this here. I'll be getting the next one in there and the next one there. And then I would pop these out there, there, and there. And because these are completely dry and sterile, what I would do is put them in a zip seal bag, put them out of the way, ready for next time I want to use them. If you put wet plugs in another bag with a lot of oxygen around them, again, you can get fungus gnats and they could go moldy. I've seen some really crappy moldy plugs when the wet ones, dry ones, completely sterile, you're never gonna have a problem. So that's what I've done. So I'm gonna get the next blocks and I'm going to set them up like this, drop them in. And that's ready for me to put my cuttings in the blocks. So I take the cutting, drop them in, take the full 77 by half, 35 cuttings. I'll be taking 35 cuttings in the tray, and then they'd be ready to move on to my Extreme Propagator. The Extreme Propagator and the Extreme Cubes are exactly matched to what these will do. These will fit perfectly in the tray, leaving you enough space so that you can see if you need to put any water in there. You can put a bit of water around the edge. Really great size propagator tray. If you see these plugs to start and lightening up, so they're getting a bit dry, you can always add water to get them to soak some water back up. But generally what I find, when these blocks are completely saturated, they'll be rooted before you need to water them again. So it's a great way to basically take your cutting, drop them in. You'll be checking your cutting in about 5 days and you should start to see some roots going through. Then what you do, you put the propagator lid on. But we've got another new product from Extreme. It's a propagator foiler spray. So it's a vegetative foiler spray for the cuttings to help them get established. And what you do, you saturate the cuttings with the spray, put the lid back on. That creates really, really high humidity, helps the propagation of the plants. You've got these ribs here, so that's where the sunblaster of a new Extreme propagator tubes will fit on there. That will help the plants grow because you've got the light on there. Not too much light because they don't like too much light. If you give them too much light, they basically, what they want to do is grow vegetative growth without roots. And what you want to do is basically give them enough light to create the right amount of roots for the size of a plant. So I like something like 24, 26, 30 watts would be plenty when you're running this kind of propagator. So again, the best bit about these plugs is they're completely sterile, they're dry, they've got a perfect air to water ratio. The bigger, the more, so you're going to get a really good root bed with a nice vegetative plant above there, and then they're ready to transport. Even if you soak them and take them out, they'll free drain back to the perfect air to water ratio. If you're going to soak them in the Extreme Cube Soak, which gives them all that nutrient that they need when they're really, really small plants, gets them established really, really quickly. Then just transfer them on to the next pot and off you go. So that's it for the new Extreme 77 cubes. Back to James in the studio.
Thanks, Ian. Extreme offer the gold standard of propagation with minimal fuss, fast root development, and inert environment. When paired with the specifically designed Extreme propagators, growers get strong, healthy plants that are really easy to transplant. It's been great chatting with you, everybody. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you need any more information, don't hesitate to go onto the Global Esplage website.